looking at what's
Is
that
there
seven, what's disappearing with that $7,000, that's what I'm concerned about, is what's happening to the music program.
First of all, the music program, we were able to hire last year a teacher for science who is also certified in music, has been a music teacher in the past. As Dr. Guerra mentioned earlier, yes, and the electives will be, they'll be reduced as far as options, but the goal is to split those electives, half band, chorus, music tech, and half computer science. So that way we can maintain our chorus and music programs throughout the day, and also continue with our computer science programs. So that's the plan for next year's schedule.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that that teacher that you're referring to does not want to be here after hours. What happens to the band and chorus program that's currently at night?
So those are stipend positions.
So those stipend positions, if you
Will
send,
remain separate?
if you send me an email, we can answer the delta between the 46 and the 30.
Okay.
But I'm looking at the line items right now, and part of my reach here. Band director is still budgeted for 27. Chorus director is still budgeted for 27. Assistant chorus director is budgeted for 27. Major ed advisor is budgeted for 27. Percussion advisor is budgeted for 27. And color guard director is budgeted for 27 as a co-curricular stipend.
Okay,
So those are all in the budget for next year.
okay. Thank you.
We will be having after-school
The
chorus and band?
the plan is yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You are.
Jen Maddie, 13 Tool Court, Douglas. I just have maybe it's like a bigger picture question, but I know there was discussion of moving grades before, and then we kind of like stopped that. And now we're talking like we need money to fix the primary school, which I know has seen better days. Could there ever be a time where we have the space to shift enough that we can say goodbye to the primary school so that we don't have to put money into it to fix a dying school, a dying building, I guess, not the school, school's great, the building.
So, I'll answer that question a couple of different ways. So first off, I struggle talking about the primary school in associate here. So I just want to say that out loud. Our enrollment's declining, right? It's no secret. We don't know what's going to happen over the next few years. That building still serves a tremendous purpose. The other thing to remember is there's a lot of code enforcement that happens when you move buildings. Right now, the new law, or the law in place is if you have pre-K, if you're pre-K or K and you build any new spaces, all those classrooms must have a bathroom attached to them. So if we're moving the primary to the elementary, one thing we would have to investigate would be putting in bathrooms in all the kindergarten, all the pre-K currently have. Well, pre-K 3, what are two of the three have. So there's the cost associated with that. There's the cost of potentially having to outfit the bathrooms in the elementary to do it. So it wouldn't just be close the school, slide everyone over, and it's cost neutral. The other thing is that building could serve, if not for the Douglas Public Schools, a tremendous resource or asset to the community.
Yes.
If you look at I call it the senior center, but what's the official title?
Adult social
The Adult Social Center, right?
Yes.
That Adult Social Center right now is busting at the seams and caps out at about 50
Yes,
people.
yes, right.
Right? So even if something happens and we had to close the primary school and shift the kids and the funding was available, that building still serves a tremendous resource to the community, and I'm sure would be outfitted or could be outfitted a different way. So putting that roof on there would extend the longevity of that building and open it up to some other opportunities for them.
I guess I just mean like, and then we would like going forward, like any other work that needed, it would kind of be like on the town versus on the school, right? Because like if they're separate things.
So
Like if it needed more work in the future? Like,
Um,
then it would be part of the school budget, I guess, is what.
Yes and no. So if, I don't want to throw anything out there in the universe because I don't want anything to happen. But let's just say a lock broke on a door, something that's relatively benign, right? It's not going to cost us a lot of money or destroy the budget. If a lock broke on the door, that's something that would have to be funded by the school department, right?
Right.
So, something happens to a rooftop unit that is nominal, that would be something that's funded through the school department.
Right.
If all of a sudden we made the decision to spend $4 million to replace all the rooftop units and put central air in that building, that would not come out of the school department budget. That would be something that would either be funded through capital or through a separate warrant article or through a debt exclusion.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
I think the other piece to remember is that the school department is just one department of the town
Right.
when we think about shifting buildings.
Claudia. Katie Wall, 76 Pond Street. So just for clarification purposes too, I know currently 21 positions are cut. That's definitely happening. So best case scenario, that's where we stay for 2027. Worst case scenario, 5 more positions get cut? Is that my understanding?
If the 394 does not pass on town meeting floor, a minimum of 5.
A minimum of 5, okay. So if that is to happen, unfortunately, is that going to be a transparent process with parents about what that's going to look like? I know you're going to have to go back to each individual school, or has that already happened? Do you already have the scenarios in place?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, just to,
So, so the way we did the process is we had things in 4 different tiers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. And what you're seeing here represents tier 1, tier 2 cuts. And tier 3 is the next round. Tier 4 was worst case scenario. So if we were going to eliminate, if we had to eliminate $384,000, we have a list of 7, 8, 9, 10 positions that we were looking at. If we had to close the full 763 that we'd be looking at, we'd have discussions internally as to how we would do that to come up with that 394.
and I don't know if this is even possible, to share that information with people before town meeting so they know possibly what could be happening, or is
I
it
will
just,
share all of that.
you know what I mean, as much information as you can, not to make it this big dark cloud, but just for transparency purposes and to say, listen, these are kind of the situations that we're in right now, this is what could be coming, to let everyone know. It's not, a definite for sure, but just so parents know how important it is to come out and
I'll share that over the next
be
meeting.
active. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
We'll let the audience take a 10-minute break, and I'll turn it over to the school committee for any questions they have, just in case.
I don't have any questions, but I just want to thank everybody that's here tonight with us, because we're all parents. We all know what it's like to come out tonight and be here. And this isn't easy for any of us. None of us like what we're faced with and what we're doing. I know that Dr. Viera and the other admins, us, we've been up at night, really worrying about our kids and our school and our community. It's our community too. And I just really appreciate all of you that have come and wrote your legislators and advocated and asked questions. Please don't stop asking questions, and please don't stop coming, because we want to hear from you. You matter to us.
I'll just do a little caveat. It's the only time we can ever talk to
Yes,
you.
it's wonderful.
If you ever wonder why, it's just public law. It
Yeah.
tells us we can't, but in open forum like this, we can have a conversation. So we like it when it happens. I also want to give a shout out, if I may, before I turn it over to you. Douglas Teachers Association has been phenomenal. They've been very supportive. They've gone to select board meetings. They've been at finance committee meetings. They've been here at our school board meetings. And it's just been a very collaborative process, because this is not easy, right? We're it's our students that are going to be impacted, but also our teachers, our administrators too, as well as our paraprofessionals. These are not easy cuts. And this is heartbreaking. So we do need you all to come out to town meeting, make sure your voices is heard, write your representatives, because there are not easy choices, and we're not the only one in the valley. We're not the only one in the state. Some of your rich neighborhoods, like in Lexington, which is big money, they're laying off teachers, 60 teachers are being laid off up there. So it's not just here, it's systemic, but we also need to hear from you all of what you need, where you think the cuts should be made, not be made. Because if we don't hear from you, we're just going with what we know, and sometimes that does shade if we like outside of the box. Sometimes you have great suggestions for us, but if you don't come and let us know, you can email too. Again, you'll hear back from me, it's one voice, but we can't talk any other time except when it's in a public forum like this. It's the only time you'll ever hear from us. So we do hear from you, we do acknowledge to the best of our abilities, but this is your time to like really help us help you, because it's all one community and it's all of our kids that we have to make sure get the education they need.
Heck yeah. Everything that's been said, I obviously agree with. Kudos, I mean, what a weird thing to say kudos, right? Like, people are losing positions in their livelihood, and our students are losing their educators and people that they trust. But this could be worse. And I think it's, assuming all goes well on May 4th, just the fact that the town is willing to give even, I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a ton of money, and that's huge, especially for a small community. So I think it speaks volumes to what we value here in town. And I know I'm preaching to the choir a little bit because you gals came out tonight, because you're all gals, except for Mr. Board Selectman back there. Oh, and the students. You know what I mean? So, but to people listening at home, this is something that we can change. We can vote. We can show up to our town meetings. We can write our representatives. We can vote in the elections in November. When people say their vote doesn't matter, that's wrong. Everybody who says that, if you voted, it would matter. And when we hear that Title I funding is being cut on a federal level, and a lot of our questions tonight were about Title I, and how paramount is Title I to our students? I mean, that is the building block of the rest of their lives. And it doesn't matter, apparently, to the people making those decisions on a federal level if they're cutting it that much. And so, vote, 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 advocate, keep advocating. I think that we'll get through this. I think we have a dark time ahead. I'm really looking forward to the 2030s. That's going to be great. So I'll see you all then, and thank you for coming out.
She's our ray of sunshine.
Heather,
Absolutely.
can we clarify something on Title I?
Sure.
Because that's actually not my understanding of what happened to Douglas Title I. Can you tell me if I'm wrong? Douglas Title I came down because our town's income level went up. Is that appropriate?
No.
Kind of, right?
So the poverty, you receive Title I.
I'm sorry.
You got it.
No, I'm on a roll. We receive, Title I is funded through a bunch of different mechanisms. One of the benchmarks that we look at is the poverty level in the state and community. I forget.
It's the state.
It's a
So
state.
it's a federally funded grant that reviews states, and they look at, one of the targets is the poverty level in the state. The state of Massachusetts poverty level decreased by 10%. And that's why across the state, all of them decreased.
I totally believe you. I'm just,
Right, it's great, but I just wanted to say, it's, you know, Title I is very complex, and so, you know, I totally hear all the concerns, and I have them as well, but I just wanted to be like really clear on what happened. Like, it should be a good thing, Massachusetts poverty levels rose, and yet we're taking the hit on that. But I just, because we've got a little political here, I just wanted to make sure that people at home understood where that cut came from. It's not like Douglas did something wrong or, anything like that to lose that money.
No,
And
that's
even
not what
if
I was
it's-
saying at all.
I know you weren't. I just like, the way that all Title I conversations went, I had that in the back of my head of like, how do we get that money? And I just wanted to be like really clear, like, because I knew something happened where it was like, income went up and therefore, I actually thought it was per town, but the state lost funding. But anyway,
The other thing to remember too is, like, rural aid. We love rural aid.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with rural aid is we do not receive the funding for rural aid until November, December of next year. So it's difficult for us to do anything. You don't use a one-time funding for ongoing costs. So what will happen is, if rural aid gets funded at the full dollar amount, we may receive $150,000, which is great, but we won't get that money until October, November, December of next year. And we can't carry it over. We have to spend it by June 30th. So what we've done this year, what we've done in previous years, is we look ahead and we say, I'll do an easy one. We know we have to outfit the computer lab at the high school, and that's in the budget for $35,000. Instead of using FY27 funds,
our current representatives have been incredible and spoken very freely with us on multiple occasions about what is happening, and they're fighting so hard for some of the things that we're discussing, including rural aid. So I agree, our local elections absolutely have consequences, but we have everyone, but the town is working for us, our representatives are working for us, so I think it goes even higher, and I applaud all of you for trying to get these grassroots movements going. I feel like it does have to be bigger. Whoever kind of came up here and said, how do we get a bigger movement? I don't know what the answer to that is, but I can tell you everyone here very locally is fighting really hard for our community, and I do think we have to take it to the state level, even higher, unfortunately, than McKenna and Fatman, who really are doing everything in their power.
And you don't have to write a beautiful letter to write your legislator. You can write anything to them. They actually kind of like when you write something different because they get a lot of form letters. So I was talking to one of the aides the other day and she said, can you tell them to write something different so I don't read the same thing all the time?
But they are approachable.
But they
They're
are
very
very
approachable. I mean,
good people.
you see them out in the community, they are very approachable. I will just say that, and they're working their darnest.
And they have young kids. They have kids in school systems similar to ours.
Okay, so I'm Jamie Russo. I actually kind of wear two hats. I'm a parent, soon to be preschooler too, and then I teach at middle school. but
Address? Sorry.
I don't know what I'm coming as right now.
You're Douglas Public.
All right, I'm a Douglas resident too, so I'm all over the place, but,
Address?
Chromebooks.
Address. Address, Jamie.
Oh, all right.
Sorry, Jamie.
166 Maple Street, it's
Thank
okay.
you.
Half of the people live on my street. No, but question about Chromebooks, and poor Jacob, he shares a room right next to me, so he hears me all the time asking, the kids and their Chromebooks, is there a way, and I don't know exactly where they're funded from, but is there a way where us as parents can more take that responsibility off the school at like the beginning of the year, buy the Chromebook for the children, or somehow pay 50-50 with the school, but then there is money in a budget where if they break it, and I'm only saying this because at the middle school level, we see kids all the time, they just drop them, or we have kids that are punching them because they're just frustrated, and we're trying to explain to them, if you punch, if you break, now your parents have to pay for it, and then it just is a whole spiral.
Yeah, I'll answer that a couple different ways. So it gets tricky when you have parents funding a school operating budget. We're obligated to, we don't want to get down to the point where parents are paying for textbooks, parents are paying for paper, parents are paying for ink. So we fund the budget. If there's someone out there who wants to make a one-time donation to the school department and say, I'd like to donate $40,000 to help offset the cost of Chromebooks, school committee can accept that donation and do that. That's one thing. Another thing that John Sergio, our tech director, is working on with his department and with Ms. Slamby is insurance for Chromebooks. And parents having the ability to buy insurance for Chromebooks so that if something happens, they can replace the Chromebooks. The third thing that we started doing is we used to buy our Chromebooks. Right now, we started the process, we're leasing our Chromebooks. So we're on a three-year lease cycle with the Chromebooks. At the end of the 3 years of the leasing, what we're going to do is you can either return all the Chromebooks, right? So if you purchased 1,000 Chromebooks, you have to return 1,000 Chromebooks. If you're missing 10 Chromebooks, and you know when you're dealing with kids, there's some Chromebooks that go missing, you have to pay fair market value for that Chromebook, which I think Dom said yesterday is about $78. Or the other option is to buy back all the Chromebooks at $1 a Chromebook. So at the end of this 3-year cycle, which I believe is next year,
One more year.
one more year, we're going to be able to purchase back all those Chromebooks at $1 a Chromebook to give us the inventory, so if something does happen, we at least have inventory. Albeit they're 3 years old, at least we have the inventory. Right now, we don't have that inventory.
It makes sense. I was just curious,
Yep.
just coming from like, I was trying to look at like the quick finances, like how much it was, but that's all.
Can I just add to that? So this is my commentary. I hate raising fees, right? And, you know, this is an area where you have your haves and your have-nots. And access to an education is having a Chromebook. School is going to pay for that Chromebook because not everybody has the same finances. And then it becomes that has and have-nots. We fought about just raising athletic fees again. So, because we know that the kids want to be part of their community, right? And having access to that and simple things like that, we don't want to nickel and dime folks, right? But we understand hard choices, and maybe that's a next year discussion. So I like the brainstorming. I do appreciate that. But I think that we just look at it. Kids should have access to what they need to be educated every single day without the parents having to pay for it. But if you have a rich uncle, grandparent that wants to make a donation, we'll take it all day long. We'll celebrate them. I'll bring balloons. We'll, do
We'll even
confetti.
tell you how to write the letter.
Yep.
I also meant like, yeah. Like
Can you go to the microphone, please?
Sorry. No, like, I mean, like thinking through a while back, like, we
Yep.
also mentioned, like, people like having like a tier system, and having like, thinking of that way. So I don't want you to think like I was trying to take away from anybody.
No.
Like, I was just more like a quick little.
You're brainstorming, and like,
Yeah.
this is how it starts, right? Us thinking as a community, what can we do to lower, right? And it just, again, if you have that rich uncle, grandparent, they want to do a one-time, that's really what would fix some of our stuff. But a $5 bake sale's not going to fix our issues right today.
Hi, Jocelyn Hoff, 89 Main Street. I'm going to kind of take what she said with the technology and flip it on its head. And I'm going to give Max a neuroscience challenge because more and more data comes out all the time that the one-to-one technology for students, especially at the younger levels, is not actually good for them, for their brain development. And research has shown that you can see where students have been given that technology and they level out and they start to dip. So is this really something that I know it's not like a financial fix for now, but something for the future? Is this really something that we want to continue? Especially in the primary and elementary schools, even the middle school, I see how much it takes away from learning. It's not added to it. So just kind of a bigger picture question, financially for the future, but also for the best interest of the students as well. So that's my 2 cents.
So I agree with a lot of what you said. Part of the issue was the way the textbook companies are now publishing their books. The days of getting every student a textbook is gone. You're getting a class set and everything's going online. So I don't know if from a wellness and a mental health and a technology standpoint and screen time, you're spot on. From a cost savings, I don't know if you're gonna save any money if you have to go out and purchase all the textbooks versus, having the Chromebooks.
Yeah, I
But
get it.
but from the other
I
standpoint,
get it.
I don't disagree, there's a lot of screen time.
You know, we're not servicing them as well as we should. We do this,
Absolutely.
Neo, 30 Douglas Hillway. So I think that there is a very compelling argument to limit some of the access to Chromebooks. I think that there is definitely research out there that shows that it can have negative outcomes, but I think as students develop and they get into or closer and closer to getting out of the support systems that they have with their families, and they go out and be more independent, that being able to use a computer is a very valuable skill, and it's one of those things where the more that you put into it as a student and the more motivated you are to get something out of it, is the more you're going to get out of it is the more that you're going to put into it. So you need to be willing to use technology as a tool rather than as a distraction or to escape from your classes. Like, I have personally gotten a lot of benefit from using computers. I mean, not having to do on-paper assignments all of the time is good in my opinion for me, although I do on-paper notes, but doing assignments on Google and being always able to access like a to-do list and having easy access to my teachers through a school administered device has been a tremendous boon for myself. And I think that being able to knowing how to use a computer long-term is an essential skill that I'm going to have to use throughout my life. And so I think it's still valuable to teach students on how to use technology properly and to get the most that they possibly can out of it.
Are there any other questions from?
Les Stevens, 66 Franklin Street. Could you just go back to like, I think slide 8 or 9? And I do appreciate the board here. I think it's 7. 6. There.
Sure.
We got the
No.
page numbers tonight.
This slide is critically important for everybody to understand. So what Paul's highlighted during his time, the local, everything locally from the town budget, providing from $12.5 million to $16.5 million during that time. The state's budget has increased from $30 billion to $60 billion during that same time. So you got to look at the fact that locally, when Paul talks about, circuit breaker and all the stuff coming from the state, that is the bottom. So even though our line locally is up at the top, going up that way, providing to the school, the bottom line is when you get into grants and to circuit breaker and all the other things coming from the state, that has been flatlined or declining. So it's not a local issue. It's not that your board's here. It's not local. It's really just a message that has to get done up at the State House and the governor's office and stuff like that. It's not going to be solved. That's why all the other communities are facing the same issue. We toggle back and forth and do the best we can do and help in every area. But part of it's getting involved and going to that corner office at the State House and getting that letters to the governor and stuff like that. Because that's what's needed here. It's both boards and committees, look at that, FinCom, but just those dates that you're looking at just from May, there's dates after that you have to look at, there's things you can do. And, from the course that we've done with, funding the school in different ways, citizens funding, sports programs, I worked with Paul on securing funding for sports, quite a few years ago with a local person, so there's a lot of things. You got, as a school body and people involved in the school, I graduated here, so, this means a lot to me as well. So, but you just gotta look at those numbers at the bottom of the state, and things not coming back locally enough. And that's what's really starting to weigh in on a lot of communities. So I just want to share that with folks. Thanks.
Are there any other questions from the committee? school choice participation.
That's all I like to speak, because I live in Webster, but I go here to Douglas. My kid is my name's Matt Storage for Brownsville Road, Webster, Massachusetts. It's more or less of a question, more of just an observation or statement. Between some of the school, I don't want to undermine any other issues by commenting on this, but between the school's boys' bathroom in the Douglas High School, particularly in the hallways, the hallway bathrooms, they have not had soap dispensers or any means of soap for the past few years. I mean, from indoor track and field, I've been going here since 7th grade, so I've been going here for maybe 5 or so years now. And I think I can remember maybe 5 years ago, there was a soap dispenser in one of those bathrooms. But otherwise, if there's a soap dispenser, there's no soap in them, unfortunately. And I'm an avid hand washer, so I find myself going down to the farthest away bathrooms, which fortunately, with the one that's being closed off now, which I don't know, was it probably to prevent like, students from gathering and collecting that
So
bathroom?
before, we need to be careful that we're not violating open meeting law. So right now, we're talking about school choice participation. You're talking about something different, which isn't on the agenda
Yeah.
tonight.
I don't want to undermine you.
So what we're gonna do is, I'll have Mr. Ringet reach out to you tomorrow and have that discussion.
I've just made previous commentary about it. I've been trying this for a little while now. If you have this 2 years to comment on this, so I figured maybe I could get it across now and hope it sticks. Thank you.
So I will tell you, public comment, when we ask for public comment, that is your chance to come and tell us what's going on. And we'd love to hear from students.
Yes.
Students are our #1 priority. We welcome you to come, but that's what public comment is there for. That is your avenue, as well as for residents. That's your avenue to come and tell us what you think. Because we'd love to see you come to our meetings.
And we just need to be careful we're not violating.
Absolutely, but that's where it-
Before,
That's your
trying to
avenue.
get way to backdoor that. All right.
If I can, we're not allowed to comment. So just so you know, if you come for public comment, you can say it's a one-way conversation. You're coming to us. We can't comment back to you, but we can get you to the right administrative staff that you need to talk to. But we do listen to you to come and share your thoughts. We do listen to you. We're just not able to comment on it.
And then follow up with them to make sure.
Thank you. Ms. Landry will work with you tomorrow and next another. So every year we have to take a vote whether or not to continue participating in school choice. And as we're reducing staff and increasing class size, this is a difficult conversation to have. But as we also pointed out, school choice is a major funder of our operating budget. And absent school choice, we would have difficulties operating. So before you in your package, you have a proposal for how many seats we are recommending for school choice with the current and the proposed class size. Right?
We don't have it.
No, it's on the agenda.
Oh, sorry, it's in the
Yeah, it's
agenda.
not in the packet, but it's, sorry, yeah, it's, where did I get to it here?
It's under consent agenda, bullet number 4, please.
Can you put up there?
I only have one presentation.
Do you have a copy of the agenda?
I have to go up to the control room.
Do you have a computer? Is that all?
It's all run from up there,
Okay.
the presentation.
Do you have it?
I have it, but I don't know what to tell them to click on, because I don't know what I clicked
Choice
on.
projected class size was 26, 27.
Yeah. If somebody needs to share, I have it up here.
It's just more for them too.
So I'll go through this grade by grade in our recommendation for class size. Right now, we're not recommending anything for kindergarten because we don't know what enrollment is. For grade 1, we're recommending 5 students, which would bring class size from 19 to 20. We are not accepting school choice in grade 2 because we're at 22 students. For grade 3, we're recommending 4 students, which would keep our class size. We were roughly a hair under 21. That would bring us to 21. In grades 4 and 5, we are not we are closing those grades. In grade 6, we will be looking at 6 students maximum for school choice. Current class size is 18, that will bring it to 220. We are not recommending any additional students in grade 7 or grade 8 due to the class sizes being at 26 and 23. Grade 9, we're holding off to be determined based off of how many students end up going to BVT. And if you remember grades 10, 11, and 12, Mr. Romano was famous for having the number 30 there. Right now, we are looking at 4 students in grade 10, 8 students in grade 11, and 13 students in grade 12, which would bring the average class size to 25 in that area. And anyone who's currently in school choice will continue in school choice. These would be additional new students that we could potentially take on if people so choose to apply.
Any questions?
Class size up to 25 at the high school. I feel like we're already bumping the class size up pretty significantly.
We can do that.
What do you say?
Because he didn't give any of this one.
No, not at this one, but at all of these. So we went from classes of like 13, now we've had these cuts, now our classes of like 18, and now we're proposing